Part 1. The day everything changed. I lost my job because I could not speak English, and that single moment changed my life forever. My name is Jack Miller. This is not a fake story. This is not a movie story. This is my real life. I live in the United States. I came here with big dreams. Like many people, I believed America was the land of opportunity. I believed that if I worked hard, my life would be successful. But I was wrong about one thing. Hard work alone was not enough. A simple life with a big problem. I was not lazy. I woke up early every morning. I worked long hours. I followed rules. I respected my boss. But I had one serious problem. My English was weak. I could understand basic words. I could say simple sentences. But when people spoke fast, I felt lost. When meetings happened, I stayed quiet. When someone asked me a question, my heart beat fast. I was afraid to speak. How I got the job. I worked at a small company. It was not a big office. It was not a high-salary job. But for me, it was everything. I got that job because my friend helped me. He talked to the manager. He explained that I was a hard worker. The manager gave me a chance. On my first day, I felt happy. I thought, this is my new start. But English followed me everywhere. Every day was a struggle. At work, people talked in English all the time. Emails were in English. Meetings were in English. Instructions were in English. I tried my best. I smiled. I nodded my head. Sometimes I said yes, even when I did not understand. Inside, I felt scared. I was always worried. What if they ask me something? What if I say something wrong? What if they laugh? Because of fear, I stayed silent. The meeting that changed everything. One day, my manager called a meeting. Everyone was sitting around a table. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating fast. The manager started talking about a new project. He asked questions. People answered with confidence. Then he looked at me. Jack, he said, can you explain your part of the work? The room became quiet. All eyes were on me. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. My mind went blank. I tried to speak. My sentences were broken. My grammar was wrong. I could see confusion on their faces. Someone whispered. Someone smiled. I felt small. After the meeting, my manager called me into his office. He closed the door. He was calm but serious. Jack, he said, you work hard. You are honest. I respect that. I felt a little relief. Then he continued. But communication is very important here. English is important. We need someone who can explain, speak, and understand clearly. I knew what was coming. The words that hurt the most. He looked at me and said, I am sorry, Jack. We cannot continue like this. That was it. I lost my job, not because I was lazy, not because I was bad, but because my English was weak. Walking home in silence. I walked home slowly. The streets were full of people. Cars were moving fast. Life was going on. But my world had stopped. I kept thinking, if only my English was better. If only I could speak clearly. Tears came into my eyes. I felt ashamed. I felt angry. I felt helpless, talking to my family. At home, my wife looked at my face. She knew something was wrong. What happened? She asked. I stayed quiet for a moment. Then I said softly, I lost my job. Her eyes became wide. Why? She asked. I took a deep breath. Because my English is not good, I said. She did not shout. She did not blame me. She just said, we will manage, but you must not give up. A night full of questions. That night I could not sleep. I kept thinking about my life. I asked myself many questions. Why did I ignore English for so long? Why was I afraid to learn? Why did I stay quiet? I realized something important. English was not my enemy. Fear was my enemy. A small decision with big power. Around midnight, I sat up in bed. I made a decision. I will learn English, I said to myself. No matter how long it takes. I did not say I will learn perfect English. I did not say I will speak like a native. I said something simple. I will try every day. The first step. The next morning, I woke up early. I took a notebook. I wrote on the first page, my English journey at day 1. I felt nervous, but I also felt hope. I opened my phone. I searched for simple English videos. I listened carefully. Some words were hard. Some sentences were confusing, but I did not stop. Learning was not easy. On the first day, I felt tired. My head hurt. My tongue felt heavy. I made mistakes. I forgot words. But something was different. I was not running away anymore. I was facing my problem. A promise to myself. Before sleeping, I looked at my notebook. I wrote one sentence. I will not quit. I did not know how long it would take. I did not know if I would succeed. But for the first time in a long time, I felt proud of myself. Part 2, the lowest point of my life. Losing a job hurts, but losing confidence hurts even more. The days after I lost my job were the hardest days of my life. Every morning I woke up early, just like before. But there was no office to go to, no uniform to wear, no badge to clip on my shirt, only silence, empty mornings. I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee. The coffee was hot, but my heart felt cold. My wife moved around the house quietly. She did not want to make me feel worse. I looked at my phone again and again. No messages, no calls. Before I was busy. Now I felt useless. My mind was my enemy. My biggest problem was not money. My biggest problem was my mind. Negative thoughts came again and again. You are not smart. You cannot speak English. You will fail again. Every time I tried to study English, fear stopped me. What if I never learn? What if I sound stupid? I closed the book many times without reading. Family pressure. One evening, my wife sat next to me. We need to plan, she said gently. Rent, bills, food. We must think. I nodded my head. I know, I said. She did not blame me, but I could feel the pressure. As a man, I wanted to provide. I wanted to protect my family. But without English, I felt weak. Remembering the past. That night, I remembered my interview. The manager's face. The quiet room. My shaking voice. That moment replayed in my head like a movie. I closed my eyes, but it did not stop. The fear of English. English was everywhere. On TV, on the phone, on signs outside. Before I ignored it. Now I could not escape it. English felt like a wall between me and my future. A phone call that hurt. One day my old coworker called me. Hey Jack, he said. How are you? I'm fine, I lied. He talked about work, about meetings, about new projects. I listened quietly. At the end, he said, you know, if your English was better, you would still be here. He did not mean to hurt me, but his words hurt deeply. The lowest moment. After that call, I sat alone in the room. I put my face in my hands. For the first time, I cried. Not loud, not fast, slow tears. I felt like a failure. A simple question. While sitting there, I asked myself one question. Do I want to live like this forever? The answer was clear. No. A new way of thinking. I stood up and looked in the mirror. I saw a tired man, a scared man, but I also saw someone who was still alive. I said out loud, I am not stupid. I just did not learn English the right way. Those words felt powerful. Making a real plan. This time I did not say, I will learn English someday. I said, I will learn English every day, little by little. I wrote a simple plan. 30 minutes listening, 20 minutes reading, 10 minutes speaking, even alone. That was it. No big promises. Day 1, very hard. The first day was painful. I listened to a simple video. The speaker talked slowly. Still, I missed many words. I stopped the video again and again. I felt tired, but I did not quit. Speaking to myself. At night, I stood in front of the mirror. I said simple sentences. My name is Jack. I live in the United States. I am learning English. My pronunciation was bad. I laughed at myself. But I kept going. Small wins. After a few days, something changed. I understood one full sentence. Then another. It was small, but it was real. I felt happy for the first time in weeks. Fear was still there. Even with progress, fear stayed. I was scared to speak to real people. What if they don't understand me? What if they laugh? So I practiced alone, again and again. One important rule. I made one rule for myself. No shame, no quitting. Mistakes were allowed. Silence was not. A talk with my wife. One night my wife asked, how is your English study going? I smiled a little. It's hard, I said. But I am not stopping. She smiled back. That's all I want to hear, she said. Her support gave me strength. A new feeling. Weeks passed. I was still jobless. But inside something was changing. I felt hope. Not big hope, but real hope. Looking forward. One morning while studying, I thought, what if English becomes my strength, not my weakness? That thought scared me, but it also excited me. Part 3, Learning English the Hard Way. Start hook. Learning English was not easy, but quitting was no longer an option. Every morning I followed the same routine. I woke up early. I washed my face. I sat at the small table near the window. On the table there were only 3 things. A notebook, a pen, my phone. This was my classroom now. The first real week. The first week of learning English was painful. I listened to simple English videos. The speakers talked slowly, but my mind was slow too. I pressed pause many times. I wrote words I did not understand. Some days I learned 5 words. Some days only 2, but I learned something every day. My notebook became my friend. My notebook was full of mistakes. Wrong spelling, wrong grammar, broken sentences. Before I hated mistakes. Now I accepted them. Every mistake meant I was trying, listening again and again. I listened to the same audio many times. The first time I understood nothing. The second time, a few words. The third time, full sentences. Slowly, English started to sound normal. Not easy, but normal. Speaking alone felt strange. Speaking was the hardest part. I talked to myself in the room. Sometimes I felt crazy, but I remembered my rule. No silence. I spoke even when my voice shook. Fear followed me outside. One day I went to the grocery store. At the counter, the cashier asked me a question. I understood only one word. I felt panic. But this time I did not stay silent. Sorry, I said slowly. Can you say it again? She repeated it. I answered. It was not perfect, but it worked. A small victory. When I walked out of the store, I smiled. It was a small conversation. But for me, it was big. I spoke English, and I survived. More practice, more pain. I started watching English news. It was fast. Very fast. At first, it felt impossible, but I did not quit. I listened every day, even when I understood only 20%. Writing simple sentences. Every night I wrote 5 sentences. Simple sentences. Today I studied English. I feel tired but happy. I will not quit. Writing helped my thinking. Bad days still came. Some days were terrible. I forgot words I learned before. I mixed grammar. I felt stupid again. On those days I wanted to stop. But I remembered my job, my family, my promise. So I continued, talking to real people. One evening my neighbor said hello. Before I only smiled. This time I answered, "Hello, how are you?" My voice was low, but my heart was strong. Embarrassing moment. One day I said a wrong word. People laughed. My face became hot. For a second I wanted to run away. Then I remembered something important. They were laughing, not attacking. So I laughed too. The fear became smaller. Confidence grows slowly. Confidence did not come suddenly. It came word by word, sentence by sentence, mistake by mistake, changing my thinking. I stopped thinking, I am bad at English. I started thinking, I am learning English. That change helped a lot. 1 month later. After 1 month, not perfect, but better. English was becoming a habit. English was no longer scary. It was part of my day, like eating, like sleeping, a new dream. One night I thought, what if I get another job? The idea scared me, but it also gave me energy, preparing for the future. I started practicing interview questions, simple answers, clear sentences. I recorded my voice and listened. I corrected myself. Looking back, I remembered the man who lost his job, the silent man. I was not that man anymore. Something changed inside me. I was still learning, still slow, still making mistakes, but I was no longer afraid. If this story touched your heart, remember one thing. Learning English is not about being perfect. It is about being brave. If I can change my life by learning English, You can change yours too. Never be afraid of mistakes. Mistakes mean you are learning. I'd like this video if this story inspired you. I share it with someone who feels afraid to speak English. Subscribe to the channel for more real stories and simple English learning. Your journey can start today. Just take the first step